Good morning, everybody. So it's taken me a little bit of time because I was just running late. My coffee wasn't all the way done, and I got up a little bit late. It's really cold out. It's really, really, really cold out. Contemplating taking a walk. I'm like, ooh, it's cold out there. Hmm. I sat here and I was trying to figure out what the heck to talk about, of course. So as I was tapping into myself, a few things that came up was, and talk about expectation. That's really the thing to talk about on Christmas Eve, right? Expectation, because there's Christmas presents underneath the tree. Good morning. There's Christmas presents underneath the tree, and expecting presents, and that's really great. That's a great conversation to have because expectancy is something that I'm not very. I don't like the word expectancy to the expectations. I'm not fond of that word, and I actually over the course of this month, I'm realizing I need to change my perspective on the word expectation because I'm kind of programmed to think of expectation as a negative because hey, morning medicine, because when you expect, you're setting out, the saying of that when you expect things, you're probably going to expectations hardly ever come about, so you're setting yourself up for letdown. And it's really a negative spin. Really, 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 wonderful. It's really a negative spin on something that, as I look through it, is really supposed to be positive. So I kind of think we're going to talk about expectations tomorrow. Oh, expectations tomorrow. Just because the other thing that I was looking at, and then I actually went and found a little Abraham Hicks quote on is selfishness, which is why I titled this Have a Very Merry Selfish Christmas. But I want you to know that expectations are not always negative. Not always negative, but we're flipping gears. We're flipping gears. Selfishness is another one of those that I go, ooh, I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to be selfish. I'm a good person. I'm not selfish. I think about others. I put others first. I'm this, I'm that. All this different stuff. And the truth of the matter is that in order for you to have a high vibration, high success in life, in creation work, and really, moving forward to what you want, that you must be selfish. A selfless person, and you think about the word selfless, what does selfless mean? It means to be without the self. It means to dishonor the self. Now, I know that that's not, if you look it up in Webster's, that's not what you're going to find. But we're going at it from an energetic perspective here, not from a very logical of the mind perspective that you're going to find in Webster's. So, to be selfless is basically just call yourself doormat. Hi, I'm this doormat. I'm here for you to walk all over. I'm here because I have no boundaries. I'm here because I have this, because I don't have that. All right, that's different stuff. Selfless is not really that great. It's to not embody yourself. It is to deny yourself. And it's kind of put up on the pedestal and you go, that's such a selfish person. And then they look at selfishness, and selfishness, we're like, oh gosh, you're so selfish, or I'm being selfish right now. And it's kind of, downplayed, like, don't want to be selfish. But what is selfishness? Selfishness is actually to be fully embodied and in the self. And here's the little thing that nobody really ever talks about, because, well, 80% of people don't even think about this, right? And that is that selfishness, if we are fully embodied and we're fully embracing ourselves, then we are also appreciating ourselves, loving ourselves, these horrible, horrible things. Now, like, think much of yourself. That is a comment that we normally hear, right? You think much of yourself. Like, you shouldn't be thinking so highly of yourself. Stop putting yourself up on a pedestal. If we don't think highly of ourselves, if we don't think, worthy thoughts of ourselves, if we're not appreciating ourselves, then how are we ever going to draw to us things that we really want? Those high vibrational things. How are we going to draw to us the things that make us feel really good if we don't feel really good about ourselves? How are we going to draw to us the things that we really want, that we desire? We are actually denying our core, our soul, if we're constantly turning away from ourselves to be selfless, right? So a selfish person actually is a powerful person within themselves because they're tapped into, we'll call it source energy. They're tapped into God, source, creator, creation. So they're a direct line of energy. So it's really that you're focusing all your energy in your being through really connecting to yourself, which means that a selfish person is actually a very in alignment person. And when you're being selfish does not mean that you're going to be thinking negative thoughts about other people, wishing negative things on other people, trying to control other people. And that was the quote that I actually pulled from Abraham Hicks, was, if everyone understood the power of their own being, they would never seek to control anyone. If everyone understood the power of their own being, they would never seek to control anyone. So when you look at it like that, to really be tapped in and be part of, really accept your divinity, accept the power of God within you, So if we take it more of a biblical view, a child of God, right? And Christ saying, I am the way and the light. He who believes in me will live forever. There's so many quotes from Christ talking about that the power is within us, that we can do everything, that he's just leading the way. He's just leading the way. You look at Buddha, there's quotes there too. It's all about these master teachers who led the way and who understood their power because they were so selfish. They got into alignment with the Creator versus being, would you think that this Jesus or Buddha or Gandhi, any of these people, as peaceful as they were, they didn't take shit from anybody really. When the time came, if they needed to make a point, if they needed to make a stance, they were very strong in that stance. They were willing to stand strong and firm, speak their truth. And that meant that they were not being a doormat to anybody. Okay? So look at your life and go, where am I being selfless? How often am I being selfless? And I'm more concerned about everybody else out there than I am myself. Because if you are, your well-being is not really going to be in that great of a space either. So you have to look at that. And a selfless person is not concerned about their well-being. They're concerned about everybody else's well-being, but not their well-being. So how are you going to create things that are good for your well-being if you don't care about your well-being? So I'm going there. It really is. It's about that connection to God, to yourself, really embodying yourself, really loving yourself. And that means taking the time to do the things that you need to do for yourself. And if well, let me show you. So I've got 7 kids, and that's a lot of motherhood. And a lot of time spent with a baby on your lap, a baby attached to my breast, nursing, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of saying no, denying the things that I needed, wanted over the last 23 years. And in the midst of that, and I think a lot of mothers out there definitely understand this, or women in mother roles or caregiving roles. And it is that you're giving, 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 so you start denying yourself. And then there's these things that happen where you almost feel guilty. You do feel guilty for taking time for yourself. That can be like, I feel guilty to take time. I spend probably 2 hours a day between my walk, my meditation, my journaling, my reading. It might be 2.5 or 3 hours some days. I take all this time in the morning to focus in on nobody else in this house but me. And on the front side of it, there was a lot of guilt. It was just like, oh my gosh, like everybody's gonna have to take care of themselves without me there. How's that gonna work? I can't, are they gonna be able to make breakfast for themselves and get themselves out for school and do this and do that? And, what if this happens, what that? And I had all these like worry thoughts and concerned thoughts that were it was my ego trying to keep me exactly in the space that I had been for, like that early phase of babies and everything. And I look back over the last 23 odd years, and I look at there were times where money was so damn tight that there was no way that I could afford to go get my nails done, go get my hair done, go out on a wine date with a friend, just go get a massage, go work out, go do these things. And anytime I did, even like buy myself a new shirt or some mascara or something, I felt horrible because I was spending money on myself when I felt like all my resources, all my time, all my energy should be going to those that were dependent on me. It was my duty to take care of those who were dependent on me at all cost. And I remember this one time, probably about 15 years ago, maybe 12. I was going through like this 2 years of really deep, dark, nasty depression. It was the worst 2 years of my life. And I didn't even really want to get up anymore. And I was living in this little town in Northern California, up in the Sierra Nevadas. Beautiful, beautiful place. And I was struggling, and I was depressed, like you wouldn't even recognize me. And I had 5 kids, 1-year-old. This was 11 years ago, because that 1-year-old's now 12 today. So 11 years ago. And a 1-year-old, and then like a 3-year-old and 3 school-age kids, all in elementary school. And I was struggling financially, and my relationship with my husband was just crap, and all this different stuff. And we were remodeling this old house, and so it was getting ripped apart, and that was where all my focus was at, because I was just trying to put myself into something that would show some results. And there was this one day when my father-in-law pulled up in his Jeep in front of the house, and we're talking about stuff, and I had said something about, and then we're talking about moving, and he was talking about moving us to Utah. And I'm like, sorry if you live in Utah, but I was just like, I don't want to move to Utah. I'm like, no, I don't want to move to Utah. I'm like, I'll move back to Seattle. I'll move here, I'll move there, but I don't want to move here. And my father-in-law, he used to speak. I remember standing at my front door telling me, he's like, at some point you guys are going to have to understand. You're going to have to understand that you have a family, and you have things that need to be taken care of, and responsibilities, and you don't get to do what you want to do. You have to give up the things that you want to do to be smart and to take care of the people in your life, because that's what matters the most. You give up your desires, your things do not matter. You do not do those. You have to be responsible. Right then in that moment, I wanted to hit him. I wanted to argue with him, but I didn't have it in me because I didn't understand how to get what I wanted, and I was so depressed and sit down there, and what he was saying seemed very logical and smart to me. So I was like, he's right. We can't always go for what we want. that's crazy. We have small children, and we have this, and we have that, and we have to do these things to make sure that responsibility is taken care of. So fast forward a couple of days ago, a friend of mine, we were talking about different things, about sharing different things, and there's stuff that I've done in the last few years. In the last couple of years, I've definitely been very selfish. Ooh, so selfish. But I've experienced a lot, and I've had all these different things, you see, and I said, but right there, like I'm still ashamed of my selfishness. And there's a piece of me, in all honesty, confession time, there's a piece of me that is kind of like I'm working through that because it is such a strong running societal program that we're all affected by it tremendously. And if you think that you're not affected by it, I call bullshit. We are all affected by this, and we all truly do have issues with being selfish, and it's not good. We all believe, we all go, no, I can't go take that trip. No, I can't do that for myself. No, I can't say no to that person. No, I can't. I have to give. That's what a good person does. You know, that's what God wants us to do, is to give. That's what, we got to just keep doing these things. Boundaries. And so the other day, I was talking to a friend, and I was telling her about all these different things that were going on, and I was, experiencing this, like I shared that other day, that I had this bodywork session, and it just pulls up a lot of different stuff when you do a bodywork session. So I was just dealing with these emotions that were coming up, and part of the ramble that I had going on was I was really realizing how, some of the statements that had been made to me over the course of the year that were really humongous anchors inside of me, or tethers. I kind of look at them as anchors and tethers. And what I was sharing with her was, like, last year we took the whole family, 11 of us, on a cruise to Mexico. And swim with dolphins, hike Chichen Itza, all this awesome stuff. Beautiful experience that all the kids really enjoyed and loved, and great memories, beautiful memories there, of connection. But then right after that, our foundation needed to be replaced, the roof on the house needed to be replaced, and some plumbing started having issues. It's like our house is getting old, and all of a sudden, this last spring, like everything just boom, 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 boom. It's just all different stuff that we had come up. And as we were talking, I was sharing with her about, there's this guilt, there's these responsibility comments, these responsibility tethers, anchors, coming at me, especially, about not being responsible and spending all of this money on this family trip that could have been done another time, right? It could have been done another time when all the stuff didn't come in with the house, with the responsibility that needed to happen. And there is a piece of me, I'm not in regret about that trip at all, but there is a piece of me that goes, well, maybe I did make the wrong decision. Maybe I should take it, not that, hindsight here, did the trip and then the things happened with the house. So it's not like I knew about all these things with the house. Although I would still do that because I didn't have enough money with the trip to cover everything that the house needed anyway. So why not create an experience that would throw me into abundance mode, because I was experiencing loving and joy and bliss with my family providing this, which would increase my vibration, which would draw towards me even more abundance, so that everything with the house would be taken care of. So I still would have done what I did because that's my personality. I'm like, okay, things are getting rough. I'm going to go take a trip. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to go find. But I look at that, and some of these tethers, these anchors, the programs that have been coming back over the course of years, you shouldn't have done that because you had these responsibilities to take care of. And what my girlfriend said, she was so correct on that. She's like, Nobody ever laid on their deathbed and said, man, I'm so happy, I'm so proud of myself for fixing the foundation and not taking that trip. Nobody ever has probably said that one on their deathbed, on their way out of this existence, laid there and said, man, I'm so happy that I was so responsible and that I made sure that all my bills were paid and I made sure that the roof on my house was taken care of and that the foundation of my house was taken care of and that this was taken care of. I denied myself everything. I denied myself all pleasure, but man, I was the most responsible person on the planet. Wasn't happy my entire existence, didn't really enjoy life, never connected with my family. I'm so happy that I never provided those connection moments. I'm so happy that I never provided memories, positive memories with my family, but I did show them exactly how to be responsible. Responsible, steady as steady can be, and never wavering. Okay? I'm so happy that I taught them that. Oh, she's sharing that. Like, right. You were right. Oh my gosh. Like, let's just cut this fucking tether, right? Let's cut the damn tether and let that shit go. And here's the thing about tethers. And this is really truly good because we have so many tethers, anchors around selfishness. And selfishness is a blockage that we have. And like I'm saying, we need to be selfish. Selflessness is our blockage. It is the tether. It is the thing that we are told that we should be. So, do you know, here's a story. I'm going to tell you a story about an elephant now. And it's like 5-6 minutes. The story about an elephant. So, elephants, when you go to the circus, which doesn't exist anymore, that's really sad. Caught one of the last circuses. But you go to the circus and you see these humongous elephants standing out there. And then they're basically attached to like dental floss. Okay? So to them, it's dental floss. It's just this little itty bitty string. And they're attached to this little itty bitty string, and then there's like this little toothpick of a stake to an elephant in the ground over there. And you're like, how the heck is this however many ton beast who could just so easily just go boom and pull their foot, and this little stake is just going to pop up. They could break, the string would break. They're free. Why are they standing there stuck with this little line of string to the stake? And it doesn't make any sense, right? Well, it's just their little tether, right? It's their little tether. And it's like, if they just got enough consciousness and looked at what was going on there, they'd be like, I can totally pull that. Yes, it's learned helplessness. Exactly, Addison. So if they looked down, they would realize that they could just break free in no time at all, right? But here's the thing. When that elephant was a baby, the keepers of the elephant had it with either a very strong rope or a chain or something like that, and it was connected to something that was actually like cemented into the ground. Some sort of like metal post that was cemented into the ground. And the baby elephants, they pull and they pull and they pull and they really resist being tethered. And they don't want to be tethered, right? But over the course of time, they pull less and less. And then one day, they stop pulling. One day, they just accept their defeat. They accept the tether. They accept just taking what is given to them. And there they are. They're standing there and they're eating. They're looking around, and now here they are, this full adult beast, and they're standing there, and a piece of dental floss can hold them, because if they tug on it at the least little amount, they feel this little bit of resistance from that little bit of string, and they go, nope, can't go anywhere. Can't go anywhere. Just is. It just is. I'm stuck here. This is where I'm at. I'm tethered. So, where's your tethers? We all have them. We all have tethers. We definitely have tethers around selfishness, selflessness. We have that tether right there. But here's the fact of the matter. Like the elephant's tether, if we just gain enough consciousness, enough awareness, which is what that means. If we gain enough awareness and we look down and see what that tether truly is. It's nothing more than a decision. It's nothing more than a choice. That's it. And if we apply that consciousness to it, guess what happens? We pull the stake right out of the ground, because the stake is just this itty bitty little toothpick over there. That's all it is. It's just this itty bitty little toothpick. And we pull it out, we gain this consciousness, and then we start creating new thought, new program around these words, which are based in feeling, and our feelings are thoughts that we think. So it comes back to just really getting into, like, what do you want to experience in life? What do you want to have? The emotions that you're feeling are a representation of the thoughts that you were thinking. They are your guidance system. Are you in alignment to what you say you want or not? And are you allowing such tethers? And there's more tethers. I mean, you could probably sit down and write down all those tethers that you have, because we all have a list of them. We all do. And a lot of them are what I call societal, because the societal beliefs are some of the hardest to get rid of, because we're constantly, getting them met in movies, in song, with the news, with their friends, with their family, with their church, at work. The messages are all there because they're so strongly ingrained in society through societal tethers. And then it's really, really hard for us to pull against that tether, because it means that we're going to break away from the crowd. And in those moments, you have to decide, do you want to be a blackbird or do you want to be an eagle? So I look at it like, do you want to be a blackbird or do you want to be an eagle? And I, for one, prefer eagles to blackbirds. But if you look at eagles, eagles fly up really, really high, and they fly way above everything, and they fly typically alone. They don't fly in flocks. They don't, like birds of a feather flock together, that whole thing. That also means that you are an eagle. It's called, I'm sorry, Addison, you said conscious buddies or groupies, I think somebody used the other day. So, it really is, it's that grouping mentality, but you're going to be careful as to the group that you are trying to be a groupie with, trying to be buddies with, because if you're just leaning into societal beliefs, then you're going to always keep yourself down here, and you're going to have all these tethers. And when we start to break free of the tethers, we increase our vibration, much like the eagle who flies above the storms, can see things at a great distance, actually picks up on the energy of the earth, and can, they can see their prey from a mile away up in the sky. And is that not crazy? The vision of an eagle is incredible, and they actually see the energy, the heat reflections of the earth. So the gases, as they come out of the earth's core and rise up through the ground, the eagle actually, their vision allows them to see through that. And that's how they actually really get into seeing their goal, their desire, the food. So blackbirds, they flock together and they shit all over everything, and they make a lot of noise, and they hover all over stuff, and they're constantly begging. They get hit by cars and run over and shot, and all these things happen to blackbirds. But they certainly are. They're all grouped together, and anytime especially at certain times of the year, you pull up to a stoplight, and what is there? There's all these birds sitting there, right? And they're all like that, and they're all perfectly spaced, and they're staying warm, and it's like this is their new community location. There's this light right here. But are they really ever achieving anything other than, all right, so they have community. And it's not to say that if you're an eagle that you can't have community. It just means that you have to realize that your circle of community is going to shrink down, and you're not going to, you can affect a lot of people, but you're not going to have a whole bunch of people that really circle is going to be a lot smaller because there's going to be less people vibrating at your level. And the majority of people want to hold on to those tethers. This is subconscious. It's not something that you think, like, I'm not going to work on my tether because I want to remain small. No, you think that it's like, I don't want to lose my friends. But that's a really long-term friendship. That's, I love these people. I don't want to push them away. I don't want to, what about this? What about that? And you start to have these feelings of like you're getting drawn in to the relationship, but yet when you look at the people around you, they're all vibrating really, really low. So if you start moving these tethers and cutting them and fighting against them, all this group of blackbirds, your fellow blackbirds, are all going to look at you and go, you're crazy. Like, you're crazy. Why are you doing that? This is just the way things are. Much like my father-in-law years ago telling me that, this is just the way it is. You have to accept that you have to just give it yourself. Oh, that's amazing. That comments coming out. And I've been the one to hand the tether back in certain situations. Good. Continue. That one's going to be difficult to overcome. That's for sure. They can. Self-love, though, seeing them for shining light on them for what they are, because guilt is something that really is just, if you focus in on appreciation and on self-love, the guilt will start to release itself. The ship that anchors during the hurricane is no less tossed around than the ship that cruises directly through. Being tethered may actually cause more direct harm to the vessel than free-flowing movement. Wonderful lesson on selfishness and selflessness. That was another beautiful lesson. Thank you, Michael. Thank you for that very clear picture there, too. It is true. I mean, if you look at it from that perspective, what you made me think of is, like, I think I shared yesterday or the day before, I was in New York last year around this time of the year, in December, and New York, skyscraper land, right? All these skyscrapers, and you look at these buildings, and they are very, it's not like I could go over and like give it a shove and it's going to move. They're very strong and stable. But at the same time, when you look at tall buildings like that, they're getting hit by storms, they're getting hit by the wind and everything, and they have to have a certain amount of movement to them. My 12-year-old son Levi, he is a YouTube fanatic, and he watches this one guy who literally is, I adore the fact that he's living this life and he's just being him, and he's very much in his orgasmic life, in his funkiest life. But he was in Dubai, and he was in the tallest building in the world. He was at the very, very top of the tallest building in the world, and then he's doing his YouTube video, and you see that the building is moving, and he's just like, swaying up here, like the building is actually moving. And he's like, whoa, he was freaking out because the building was moving. And the point there is that you have to be able to be flexible. You have to be able to move. You have to be able to have some freedom, and you've got to be able to break away from certain tethers in order for you to be able to move through a storm, to be able to increase your vibration, to be able to move up in achieve your desires. Because if you're being selfless all the time, then you're not embodying yourself. And the thing that you have to remember about manifestation is that the only way you're going to create your desired life, to have that luckiest life, is to actually say, damn it, I want it. I deserve it. I'm in alignment to it. And being in alignment to it means that you're aligned to the Creator, you're aligned to God, you're aligned to Source, whatever word you use. We're talking about the same thing. It's that you are in alignment to it. And that means that you're fully being embodied by Source, by God. You are being that channel for God to show how amazing God can be. So when we shut our being down and we start to we lean into selflessness, we are actually denying the power of God. We are preventing the flow of his hand. We are not embracing, accepting the blessings that are being given to us. So it's basically like we're flipping God off. And in a very, very serious way, because I flip God off all the time. So anybody who knows me knows that I get upset. But that's just frustration. This is an energetic flip off to God of, you're trying to give me blessings and I'm going to deny you to give me blessings because I need to be this way, instead of embracing your power, embracing yourself, embracing God, and letting God do the work through you, because you are the vessel that God does the work through. And each one of us are the vessels that God shows his greatness through. So I think that's the end of my message. Okay, that's it. Close. And we're done. And I guess I've officially gone over 30 minutes here. So I thank you so much for everybody this morning for making comments and sharing what you have, and for all the people. I think we've had one of the largest turnouts over here. I see a whole bunch of people join, not speaking up. That's okay. Maybe tomorrow, maybe another day. But I see a whole bunch of people that have joined, and thank you for joining. Thank you for popping in. Everybody who did share, thank you for sharing and being here on Christmas Eve morning. And I will be here tomorrow morning, and I'm sure that at this point you believe that. And I don't know, maybe we'll talk about expectations, because it is Christmas morning and there will be lots of presents underneath the tree. So I hope that everybody has been good, very, very good and selfless out there, so that Santa will fill your stockings and put everything underneath the tree, and that you've been obedient little children. Maybe that's what I'll talk about tomorrow. The things, how we start beliefs with our children, and especially like with Santa. I'm thinking about that. Anyway, I love you guys, and I will catch you guys tomorrow at 6 a.m. Later today, around 1 o'clock, I believe, Ms. Addison and I, Addie Bell, ooh, she's going to hit me for that one. Ms. Addison and I are going to be doing our first joint broadcast, if we can figure it all out. I'm supposed to figure this out. Push the button. Let's see if I can find the button again. And we're going to be, all right, shoot. Addison, I don't remember what our topic is. And it was, opening your own gifts. We're going to be talking about opening your own gifts. So we've got a little Christmas message that we're going to be sharing on that. We're kind of starting, we're test driving this whole free spirit joint thing, which we might be doing interviews with later down the road and everything. But we're going to first of all make sure that we've got our stuff figured out. So if you're around 1 o'clock, know that we'll be live, and otherwise it will be recorded. It'll be here on my coaching page, and we're playing around with it. And anybody, we would love to have your support on that. Okay, so I love you guys. See anybody who's there around 1 o'clock. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Go have an amazing, amazing Christmas Eve, and I will talk to you tomorrow.